So let's consider for a moment what you can buy for $1. Well, you can buy a small pack of raw sugar. You can buy some kitchen gloves. You can buy a nice set of flexi straws. You can even buy a quarter of a box of tea bags. And if you're a friend of the Trailer Park Boys, you can buy single cigarettes from Corey and Trevor's convenience store for $1 as well. Now I found a lawnmower for $1, and I was looking for it because I wanted a good rebuildable core for a mower that I have at the moment. So all up, this one's looking like a good runner. It's a bit clapped out, looks like it needs rings. I'll do a compression test in a moment. In the meantime, I picked this one up for 99 cents, and you can see why it was 99 cents. Now, what's interesting about this is it's a super swift, and perhaps quite an early one. It's got the Vulcan thing. Vulcan are an Australian firm here in Melbourne. They did a lot of gas heaters and stuff like that, oil heaters, that sort of thing, in the 1970s, and they wanted to cash in on the mower market, I guess, from Victor. Unlike Victor, of course, they didn't use their own engines. Victor didn't for their 4-strokes, of course they did for their two-stroke engines. Now these ones used either a Briggs like this one, or a Kirby for a 4-stroke, and also the Villiers 2-strokes. And I know that because we had one that had a side catch. It used to throw stones about 80 feet out the side. In fact, it was quite unusual. It had this large, like a sidecar type catcher on the side there. Rotted out very, very quickly. They were metal, and of course the grass got to them after a while. A couple of things on this one which I will use. Oil filler. This one's right down the base there. It's very difficult to get to. You have to use a funnel, whereas this one is much easier. It has dirty oil, which is cool, about half full. It has, I don't know what the date codes are yet. I think there's some codes stamped in there. We'll scratch them off and have a look. I'm just working my way around. Same sort of starter. Not sure what the deal is with the fuel. Oh, I can't get that off. I'm going to have to use pliers or something, multi-grips to get that off. We'll have a bit of a look, and we'll give it a compression test as well. It does pull. The guy reckons it's got compression, but it's probably more likely to be a bent crank. So let's check the compression first. I even found a Victor plug spanner in my hoard of tools. Oh, it's loose. That can't be good. It's a brand new plug. Compared to this one that fell out of the runner. So, what it's got a spark? Let's have a look. Let's see if we've got sparkage. Wrap its guts. Can't see. Don't think it's got a spark. Alright, here we go. That's got good compression. What have we got? 120 psi. Hang on, 20, 30. About 120, 125 psi. That doesn't sound right. Whatever the case, it'll give us a consistent comparison between this one and that. Let's have a look at this. So at 99 cents prices. That's a bit less. That's reading 75, which is still nothing to sneer at for an old dunger. Gee whiz. Fuel tank's very clean. So clean, in fact I saw water in there. I think guys giving it a bit of a hose down. Air filter's absolutely at it. Look at that. It's disintegrated. I'm going to pop that there. That's had it. All things considered though, it's pretty clean. It's really clean. Right, so look in the fuel tank, and you can see there. Can you see? That looks pretty clean. The carpet looks nice and clean in there. Not really stick. Oh, sounded like a breakage. What did you break? Yeah, let me get a dustpan. Just a minute, I've got to clean up some broken glass. Right, so we've got another one with no spark. Seems to be the bane of these things' existence, but then I don't know too much about Briggs motors. I know everyone loves them. And they also seem to be favoured far beyond the overhead valve style which they've replaced it with. These old flatheads have a reputation for going forever and a day. I haven't got the right tools out. This thing's too tight to turn. Hang on a second. I've got it, it's turning, it's just too short. So what I'd like to do is take this engine off here, stick it on the green one and do the green one's engine up. That's actually in tidier nick than the green one. That's in better nick. That's in really good nick. Let's take the... Can't take that off, hang on. Just gotta remember where everything goes. Just want to take the lid off, have a look at some numbers, and just see what 99 cents buys us. It's got water in the tank. The tank's in really, really, really good nick. Really good nick. That's actually marvellous. It needs a lid. Where's the lid? You can see, I actually used pliers to get it off, but somebody else has been there before me and stuffed it up. It doesn't matter. Remember, we paid 99 cents. So let us check this out. See what lies beneath, because I don't know. Another bolt in here somewhere. Oh, I see, we're going to take that off, do we? Right, okay. Good news and bad. One came out, one's rusted off inside. There's that muffler, which goes straight in the toilet. We can't use that. Oh boy, where's this other thing? Give me a look. Look at this. That's all melted out. And they're rusted in. Fun. Okay, so it's a better view of the dipstick tube. It's had it all in that section there. So that's a bummer, because that's one part I really would have liked to keep for the other one. So I'll just stick it to one side and chuck a bit of rag in there. Not that it's going to make any difference to the condition of this thing. So we can just pop this off now. And have a look under here. I'm expecting it to look pretty bloody awful. Which it kind of does. These dates, where are they? There. I'm just going to get some sandpaper, rub that back. Let's just have a look around here. See what I see. A couple of springs still sort of working. Maybe clean all that up. There's actually rust striking here. If we have a look around here, that's actually making contact, and that will ruin the chances of making any power. There's a gap there, there's a very little gap there, so I think what we'll do is we'll whip that off and we can clean it up, and I reckon we'll generate a bit of power then, or a little bit of magnetic field. I wonder if it's worth taking that off, and there'll be a bit of a sticky too. Alright. Uh-oh, here we go. Oh, it came off. Good boy. that off. That's a little governor flap that sort of gets pushed out by the fan, which will then, it's going to pull like, stuff a little bit there, who cares, which will then release the coil. Turn smoothly. So I'm just, hang on a second. I'm just taking the handlebars off and I'm going to piff them out because we've got a hard rubbish at the moment, which is being collected tomorrow. So everything's just rusted on. I've taken the throttle cable off. That wasn't too bad. There's a bit of movement in it, but it's pretty sad and sorry for itself. But this deck is alloy or aluminium, so it'll do as a test mill. It's got good wheels on it. But all this stuff here, you can't sandblast that. It'll just be full of pits. It'll plate badly. It's just not worth doing anything with. Oh, here we go. It's just absolutely knackered. So I'll just persevere in pulling this bucket apart in the hope that we can keep some stuff that's worth keeping. Right, so aside from taking this little guy off here to get to the points, I've taken the bars off and thrown them on the hard rubbish, but we want to get that cutting rotor off. I've got a thing with me, but it is rusted and it's got really horrible bits and pieces hanging out of it, so I think we'll remove that and throw it as well. Might be a better view in here. Really terrible. It's hit something bad and buckled those, which is why I thought the crank might have been bent. But anyway, we'll take that off and chuck it as well. Right, so I ended up taking this off. It's just easier to play around with. And this thing can go behind the shed. I'm not worried about that for now. Let's take a look at this thing here. I've loosened the top so the points are under there. I just want to drain the oil first. Right, and 99% Briggs. I was worried the crank might be bent. If it's not, it probably is now. I'm carrying it at sort of this height by the fan. Of course, I didn't tighten that properly and she fell off and landed on her bottom right there. So if the crank wasn't bent then, probably is now. So let me just rotate. You can see actually a bit of oil since it's been turned around. So that bottom seal is going to be cactus. We don't care about that. That's good actually. That seems fairly true. I want to take the head off. Let's have a look and see. So we go around and we undo them. Actually, we'll do it in diagonals because that's what we're meant to do, in a circular motion. And I'm just burning with curiosity to see what a buck buys us in a Briggs. I'm not tipping it's going to buy us terribly much of any value at all. But you know what? We got a throttle cable out of it. We got wheels. Bloody hell. We got... Actually, that's about it. Because even the dipstick thing, I don't think is going to be much good to me because it's got a big hole in it. So anyway, let's just pop this stuff off. If this looks good, I can just whack rings in it, give it a white paint job, and it's going to be really good in a 29 buck mile. Even though that one has good compression, it's a bit smoky and sounds a bit clunky. I know these engines sort of sound like that, but these flathead Briggs, as I said before, are so known for their longevity and reliability. And even though it's probably the same thing, the overhead valve ones constantly get bagged. I think people like what they used to though. I think it could be a case of that. Do Briggs and Stratton use the same size head bolt? So far they bloody well do. So let's just push that out of the way. And that'll just... Alright guys. Are you ready to see what a buck buys us? There's one shorter I think. Oh no, it's the same size. buys us an engine. Alright, let's have a bit of a look, hey? Let's have a look. And we can tell an awful lot. I might get this into the light, I'll give it a good wipe. So far, I'm loving what I'm seeing though. Okay, just a minute. Bore in our $1 Briggs. Oh, the dog's coming. There's a little scratch there, but I can't even feel it. Moving around, I've got a few marks up there. Can't even feel the ridge either. That is a sensational buy for $1. Absolutely lovely. So I think we'll rebuild this one. We'll use it in our other mower. Beautiful. That's cool. I'm very happy with that. Let the valves clapping away there. We'll give it a little valve lap as well. Oops. I'm so happy with that. That's awesome. Right, so here's another shot of that rotor I was talking about. You wouldn't dare run that. There's too many things that can go wrong. You'll probably get away with it. It's just not something I wanted to do, so they can go straight in the bin. So there you go, a Briggs for $1. I was going to start this, and then I wasn't. I thought, I can take the thing off, have a look at the points and all this sort of stuff. But I thought, you know what, I've done that a couple of times now. Let's keep it more interesting, have a look inside. We've only seen inside the bore, we haven't seen the crank or anything like that. This thing's never been cooked, judging by the bore. Normally they're scored up and down with the pistons expanded. Some people think that's carbon breaking off and making marks in the bore. It's not normally, it's normally when they overheat. This thing doesn't look like it's ever been cooked, which is brilliant. Muffler shagged, dipstick tube shagged, we can get new ones. Tank carburetor starter, all that looks perfect. What I've seen in here looks absolutely wonderful. And it's very, very similar to the one in the other mower. They're both 92908 series mowers, or motors. This one was built on, I'm having trouble with that, the 31st of July 1978. The other one was 16th of June 76. So they're both within 2 years of each other. Extremely similar machines. So for $1, I'd have to say that is hands down the best buck I've spent in I don't know how long. So this could be a little project for later. We can stick rings and gaskets through it, clean up the points, all that sort of stuff. This is going to cost chicken feed to rebuild. We'll give it a nice new paint job and stick it on the other mower. Maybe have a look at that one or do something with that later, I don't know. There's no doubt in my mind whatsoever that was going to be a good running engine the way it was. We needed to sort out the spark issue, which again is points, and the compression was a little bit down, but it wasn't too far down. It was actually quite respectable. I'm sure it would have raised itself a little bit when the engine was warm and it sort of righted itself. It hasn't been running an awfully long time by the look of it. But somebody put a new plug in and thought that that would help start it. And of course, the problem was, by the look of it, the points. Right, so there you go, a Briggs for $1. So we've cobbled it back together because that's what you do with an engine worth $1. And when we get round to it, pull him apart, clean him up. I'm wrapped with that for 99 cents. You can't go wrong. And there are genuine bargains to be had. And eBay, of course, is a source of worry for some people. I remember buying a dressing table in immaculate condition, 99-cent auction. It went for $10, $9.90 I think it was. And the guy gazumped me. He said somebody else picked it up. So you don't know what you're going to get for 99 cents. But this one certainly paid off. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Of course, look after your classic and I'll see you later.